you have a pineapple core, this might be easier to do. This one kind of broke. That's okay. Just like in the first video that I did, you just want to like push this out gently, and then you have your centerpiece out, and then you're left with a ring. It's not a full circle, it's not manufacturing, this is human hand, so it doesn't have to look pretty unless you're doing it for presentation. Then in fine dining, then yes. So there you go. So there's rings, and then we have halves. Now I just need to do my chunks and my tidbits, and then I will get into what I'm going to be talking about. This is part 2 of how to cut a pineapple, but also stages of talking. I'm going somewhere with this, okay? Just keep hanging in there, okay? So now pineapple chunks. And these are tidbits, kind of chunks, but smaller. Okay, so I got all of my pineapple pieces done. So this pineapple is obviously a whole pineapple. This represents your whole entire story, like your whole entire testimony from start to finish, whether it be your whole life or it just be a portion of your life, some like an experience that you went through. This is like the whole thing, the whole fruit of it. And your testimony is a fruit, but it's like when it comes to telling your testimony, here's the thing, like, you know, it can be blocked by shame, guilt, anything that, you know, like worrying about what others have to say, or maybe you just don't know how to tell your story. And so God kind of showed me through a pineapple. He just like gave me this idea, like it's just like right there. Stages of talking. God's worked with me on this for years, and something that he revealed to me just a couple weeks ago, it was back in March 14th of 2026. So this is to help me understand how to tell my testimony when it comes to knowing how much of my story to tell and when and how and all that stuff. So again, not everybody is going to be able to relate to this, and that's okay. I don't expect everyone to, so just it is what it is. Either you're going to understand and it's going to be meant for you and you're going to get it and it's going to hit you well in a place, because this is where you're at on your growth journey with God, in learning how to share your testimony and how to deliver it, because you know you want to be obedient to the Lord, but it's just when you've been through a lot of trauma or you've been through very severe stuff or warfare, it's just the things that you went through, when it's really deep and really dark, sometimes you just don't know how to share your testimony. Or if it was just going on for a long time, it's like if it's been taking years, and it's like, how do I talk about everything that God did and brought me through and be able to condense it to a point where I can accomplish the goal of telling the testimony, no matter if it's a small moment or a big moment, in regards to if it takes me 30 seconds to say it or 30 minutes or 3 hours. So that's what this is about, okay? So I'm going to go back to showing you what this stuff is. Okay, so as I said, this pineapple represents the whole story from start to finish. Then you have, if you're going to break it down further, you kind of have like these rings. Well, this one just broke-ish. But you have a ring, and this is like represents a memory or a moment. It's full circle. When something comes back around. These are bigger chunks. It's kind of like half of the moment or the memory. So maybe this represents like you being able to give a big chunk of your story, but not the whole part. This just represents if you are speaking a particular moment out of your story. Like if, for instance, with me and my culinary testimony is it took me 5 years to go through school. So I can talk about one particular year out of the 5, where this is like the whole 5. This would be representing like out of that year. It could be a certain moment that happened within that year. And then you have chunks, which is just a chunk of information. So a pineapple chunk would be like insight. So this is where maybe you're talking to someone and you're just giving an insight about that particular moment in that year or that season. And then you have a tidbit, a tinier piece of information. And this kind of represents tiny details of your story. And this is where you're doing only 30 seconds. And then you have the crushed pineapple, which is juicy and everything, but it looks like, like word vomit. So this is where I struggled a lot, because I would just speak so much that it would just be like blah. And sometimes people just don't know what to do with crushed pineapple. They don't know what to do with your crushed emotions and everything that you're processing and going through. So I'm going to do part 3. Next so that I can go into a little bit deeper detail, because like I said, I only have a little bit of time to do this. So stay tuned for the next one. This is Miranda on Treats and